The Highway Life, based on a true story.
Coming along?
Mom said not to be taking a ride from no strangers.
This is the bus to the Highway Life.
I'm Bolo. Bolo Big.
I'm Joey Smalls. It's about to go down.
Alright guys, what's good? I'm gonna try to do this in one take. Just let the camera run. Welcome back. So I've been working my ass off since the last time you guys saw me, putting additional framing in, just closing off things that are very detailed, nooks and crannies and things like that. Taped up everything, cardboard everything up to make sure that I don't get it all over the place. I protected my wires. What else? So I'm gonna show you guys. It's really dark in there right now because I have all the blankets up and everything, and I'm not running any lights right there right now, except just one small little LED light. I had changed some plans, so I couldn't find anybody to spray foam my the skoolie, cost effective wise. I've called like 8 different places in the local area, 20-mile radius, and either A, they didn't do it, B, they required $2,500 minimum job on anything they do. So yeah, I had a tough time with it, but I had always researched on touch and foam, the Lowe's and Home Depot kit. Comes in a 200 and a 600 square feet, board feet, which is basically whatever your square footage is at 1 inch. So if you want to go more than 1 inch of foam, once it's cured, you have to multiply by how many every inch. So if you have 100 square feet to do at 1 inch, it's 100. But if you have 3 inches at 100 square feet, it's 300 board feet. We went through 2 kits already. I thought 2 kits would do it, so I ended up wasting more money than I would have if I bought the 600 out the gate. I have 1 tank left, which is my 3rd tank, to add more onto what Marcus had already done. I'm gonna give you guys a quick walkthrough, and but I'm not going to show you guys the process because this material or this kit is very temperature sensitive, and you can't stop and go or you'll clog up a lot of things, and I'm not willing to waste the kit because I'm trying to record. I apologize in advance, but I'm going to try to show you as much as I can now, and then I guess after I'm done. So first thing first, I put cinder blocks here. It's gonna get dark, so the floor, being that I needed so much foam, and Marcus brought up a good point. Since I'm gonna have the floor, the subfloor, and then the actual planks, I think I'll have good R value there anyway. So the blankets are up. This is what he's already spray foamed. So what I'm doing is going back and filling in to give it the entire cavity to fill. This back section here is so deep. Some areas will be 4, 5, maybe 6 inches. So what I'm trying to do is save material. And all I've done is cut blocks. And I've used the great stuff to help use it as adhesive. Just rubbing it back and forth will create a nice sticky surface. This area here is already complete. If you notice the 2 different colors, so instead of wasting more to help get it perfect, all I did was use the great stuff. And it's not much of it, it's just to fill the tiny holes that are little tiny crevices. Moving along, again, sorry for it being dark. Blankets all over the place, just covering up things. My front bulkhead, It's already been filled in, but you see that area back there? I gotta add some more there. One thing I did forget to do was address the framing. I had to go back and pull a lot of the material out, the spray foam, so that I could put my support. Once I get my tongue and groove ceiling in there, it needs. I have to cut it in order. For it to in order to reach the fan. Excuse me. But it needs a support. Otherwise, your wood, the end of your wood from here, which is the last place it would attach to here, would eventually warp due to time and weather, temperature. So I needed support, which I've already cut out. See that little and I've actually cut out that little arc. And all I did was put it up to this and then trace it and cut it out. And it's drilled in from the sides. I'm sorry, drilled in from the sides out to help hold it in place. Protected my seat. See here? Got a little crevice or whatever you want to call it. That one is a little too deep. So I'm just gonna add spray foam instead of the great stuff. This one's good. Brought the battery pack in. I'm running that light to help with the darkness in here. So the heater is on right now. So the heater is on, and I have it up to about 84, 85 degrees in there. The metal should be good. Should be, being that it already has insulation on it. But I just wanted to warm up whatever areas I could. My last kit spray foam has been sitting inside for a week. I've kept the temperature above 80 degrees. Last night before I went home, I cranked it up to 84, 85, just to try to get it similar. Once I open up the kit and transport it in there, I'm gonna let it sit for a second to catch up with that temperature, just from going in and out. It is kind of cold in here, cold out here at Virginia, IA. I'll talk about it later on my what I would do differently, and it's all temperature related. This is the spray foam kit. This is a 200. Do your math, guys, and don't do what I did. Make sure that you have enough. Actually, make sure you have a little bit more than enough, because depending on your weather and your climate, temperature, you're not going to yield all 200. But it's been sitting here. You want to shake it up according to all the videos. I am no expert by any means, but you don't need to lift up the whole damn tank to shake this guy. Just grab it and just rock it back and forth. It's actually better anyways. Just enough to get a build up. What I'm really trying to accomplish is the warm mixture to mix around. Whatever is warm now will mix in with the rest that isn't maybe there yet. But again, temperature is very important. I'm no expert at spray foam. No matter how much research I've done, and it's a lot, because I thought maybe I would have to do it by myself. But there are simple techniques. Simple best practices that you can do to help yourself along. Because like I said, it's temperature sensitive, time sensitive. I guess in between, I think you're allowed up to like 30 seconds before your spray will jam up because the mixture is hardened. Marcus told me it was like 15 seconds, you know. So prepare your area. Some of the best practices: prepare your area. Make sure you're not tripping over anything. Make sure that you can move the tanks around quickly. Make sure the hose doesn't get tangled up. You know, use 2 people. I'm by myself today, but have somebody, you know, be on the same page, have a game plan, know when each other are moving. And if you do have to change nozzles and things like that, have them ready to go. You know, have your gloves ready to go. Have everything ready to go. I am wearing my hoodie, an old hoodie. I have all my supplies in my little kangaroo pouch here. You know, my gloves, additional gloves, additional lubricant for the handgun spray. I have the wrench just in case something happens, that I could easily mess with the hoses. I have my nozzles so that I can quickly change them in and out. So just the simple things, even if you don't know what the hell you're doing, like set yourself up to be successful at the actual job application. I forgot to tell you guys, so I am going with a closed cell spray foam. Basically it's going to help with water resistance, moisture, temperature control. It'll even help with the structure. I'll show you in 1 second. Just pushing on it, I can tell a huge difference already from the first 1.5 coats. It's gonna help with noise dampening. It's just all of it, man. But mostly the reason why I'm doing it is it goes along with me sealing the bus. Temperature control and moisture control. But let me show you real quick. So the bus, this is just the door, but the bus used to sound like that. Now it actually hurts my hand, it actually hurts my knuckle to hit that. I mean, this shit is solid. So the game plan for me to finish this up is do the back bulk head, because that's where it needs the most foam. And then I'm just gonna do the ceiling all the way down to the front bulkhead. And as I come back, I'm gonna do my floor. The floor only needs about a 3/4 inch just to seal down my boards and basically just to seal everything. And then I'm out. And I'm gonna let it cure. I think it cures in like an hour. But I gotta go head out and meet up with some folks. So I'll probably just shave it tomorrow. Gotta turn off the heater. Just because. Get my mask on. Marcus did it in about half an hour to 45 minutes from what he did. Obviously it's gonna take me a little bit longer. But I'm hoping the temperature doesn't drop too rapidly. That's one of the reasons why I put the blankets on the window so that it doesn't pull any more heat out while I shut off the heater. I do have my respirator mask that you guys saw many episodes ago. Got some shades, got some eye protective, and I'm gonna just throw my hoodie on. So here I've placed the tank in the middle of the bus, ready to go. I'm done. Overall, I'm pretty satisfied with my last kit. It's been about, I guess, an hour and a half. It's fully cured. You know what I mean. I guess it only takes like an hour to cure it or whatever. But so I had a little mishap because I was being greedy. These last few boards, yeah, I was being greedy, trying to get everything out the tank. As soon as I knew or saw that it was coming out a different color and I was at the end of my tank, I should have stopped. Now I gotta clean that shit up because it won't cure. So do yourself a favor, don't do what I did. I'm gonna show you this first panel, how I've been shaving the spray foam on the skoolie. Got the tool from Harbor Freight. I want to say it was like 14, 15 bucks on sale, or when I use my coupon. It's the best tool ever. It's actually a saw, but I guess they call it a Japanese saw. Racist much? But pretty awesome. I guess a lot of woodworkers use it just for the intricate cuts and so on. I love it because first off, it's got a good handle and it's nice and long, and it's flimsy, so you can bend it. It's got the smaller teeth on one side and the larger teeth on the other. But I've also been able to cook my eggs. I've also been able to use it as kind of like a spatula to scrape. But yeah, so anyways, I've cut the first piece already. Then I said, you know what, let me show you guys. So I just lay it flat. Make sure it contacts two surfaces, this surface and that surface. That way you know you're getting an even cut. Now the middle is a little bit trickier. You're gonna have to kind of eye it and maybe use two hands. For the purpose of demonstrating you guys, I'm just gonna do the corner piece. So basically, I laid on two of the boards so that it's flat, and then I just cut. Now, you want to be careful. This I know of. You want to be careful when you do cut it. You're going to want to reach out and grab it to rip it. Don't rip it, guys. You'll leave little tiny holes because you're ripping it. Cut all the way through and let it fall off by itself. I'm going to just jump to this side real quick. So I'm taking two contact points. Taking two contact points. And if you see, now I'm using the entire board. My blade is starting to lift a little bit. I'm okay with that. As long as I don't cut deep. I'd rather cut up versus cutting deep. Because then I can always go back and trim it. Kind of hard to do with one hand. Okay, starting to move up on me. But you guys get the idea. If you guys notice the difference here, because it has two layers. But yeah, so this is pretty cool. Nice smooth surface. Go back to the two whole layer thing. Even if you are only going to do about an inch and a half, it's still my opinion that you should do two layers. Only because if you do one layer and you get it to the height you want and it foams out and so on, when you cut it, you're kind of breaking the layer. I don't know if it's 100% accurate, but I would think anytime you break a layer on anything, you're kind of exposing it. So what I've done in the past with the spray foam in the can, the cheaper one, I'll do a first layer to where I think it should be, and then my second layer is what I trim down, if that makes any sense. Now, I've never dealt with the touch and foam, so you could cut it out the gate. I don't know. I couldn't find anything on it. But I would think it would be best practice not to break a layer of something that has cured. I don't know. Giving you guys a tour. It's cured enough that I can walk on it, but I'm trying not to. Just gonna walk on my wood. So here's my floor. I'll have to come back and shave that down. I got it. I think I got it to the height I want. Obviously I want it to be flush. Here's my front end bulkhead. I left this exposed because I need that to help trim it down flush. So that's my bulkhead area. Well, I mean, for the first time I've ever done this, I'm pretty satisfied. I wish I would have got that last section there, but it is what it is. They do have a 15 feet board feet kit for like 34, 35 bucks. I may get that just to finish off those 5-6 boards, and I only need about a half an inch on those 6 boards. So my bulkhead, talk about my bulkhead area. The reason why I went so thick with it, 4, 5, 6 inches in certain areas, is because my entire bulkhead, the back and the front cab, is all fiberglass, and it's thin fiberglass, and when I was on the roof, pretty much throughout my work process, I take notes of things, and I always knew that I wanted to reinforce it, and what better way than to use closed cell spray foam. I mean, you guys saw me do the knocking test and how hollow and how strong and how stiff it was. Now that's what I wanted for my bulkhead area. Being that it is fiberglass, I wasn't gonna hang anything from there anyway, so what I did was use whatever rails, whatever framing was back there, and I reinforced that. That's what I'll be hanging on. So that the back 2, 3, 4 extra inches, I didn't need it. Plus it's in the upper area, the sun's gonna hit it more directly. So that's why I did what I did, in case y'all were wondering. I'm on day like 2 or 3, can't remember, on shaving down my spray foam insulation on the floor, the ceiling, the sides, everything. So I am gonna put in the ceiling, looks like in a couple weeks. I've been invited to go camping with some guys and his family. The girls are gonna go with us, and I need the floor done and the sides, so that in case it's too cold, which it will be because we're in November now and we're gonna be in the mountains, that they can crash somewhere or even play or whatever. So that's what the change of plan is. I am gonna go pick up some plyboard for the flooring. I'm not gonna go with OSB only because I'm worried about it maybe getting wet, moisture and things like that, and it's not the best. I might even treat the boards even further. What else? Let me just show you what I'm finishing up. So every time I start my cutting process, I always switch out my blade, only because a nice sharp razor is gonna be a nice cut. Sometimes I break them when I'm working. I usually just throw them into a nice monster can, just so it doesn't pierce through the bag. One other thing, when I put my boards in, my plyboard, my floor, you see that little tiny seam there? I'm gonna have to caulk that up, just for extra protection, really, more than anything. What I am working on right now is just cleaning up my foam board. Well, excuse me, my spray foam. All I'm using is just a 2x3, any straight, flat item or whatever you want to call it will work. So I've trimmed as much as possible. All I'm doing is using a board, 2 contact point, that one and this one, and I'm just running it over. And if you can see there in the middle there, it's too high. So what I want to do is address that middle area there. Now you could just be like, fuck it, and put the board over and it'll squeeze it down. But you gotta remember, this is spray foam, closed cell, and it's a little bit tougher. Even as I walk on it, it doesn't mush down like the other foam board or foam in general. I'm just shaving it down just enough so that my plywood doesn't have to be forced onto being drilled down. And you can use that same technique up top, guys. So here's all the rest of the insulations in. As you can see, I've come pretty much to the edge on a lot of the areas. Ideally, this is what I want for every section. It's filled nice. Is right leveled to the surface. That is not the case on all of them. This particular one, I had to use great stuff because I didn't want to buy another kit. But as I'm shaving it, I'm actually right to the surface, so I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with that just yet. Excuse me. Areas like this, where when I cut, it came out with it, I'm not gonna spray anymore. I'm gonna just fill that in with maybe like 2 or 3 tablespoons of caulk. Call it a day. Guys, remember I had a metal rail there. It goes down on both sides of the bus. Used to be right here. Actually, you can see a tiny bit there. If you remember my 2x3s, the ones that are on the floor, on the base, and the one underneath the window, and the one midway sticks out about a 1/4 inch more than that metal rail. So I was lucky and able to just spray right over it and just shave down what I needed to. So that's additional thermal break there for me. Now for up top, I'll address that later when I do that up top, but all that metal that is exposed, I'm gonna have to cover that before I put my tongue and groove sealing in for that thermal break that I previously discussed. How much I love this tool. Doesn't take much. I'm really just more sanding it almost. Look how strong it is. Even though it's letting me sand it like wood. Actually, that's what it almost feels like. It's excuse me. Then I scrape that there off. But you guys see I did scrape all that off the wood. And I'm very satisfied with the first time I've ever used spray foam insulation closed cell. Very impressed with it. I'm very happy. I'm just gonna knock this out, guys. I guess we'll pick up when I pick up the wood and for floor installation, and I'm probably gonna attack the wall at the same time. Like I said, we got a camping trip coming up. Earlier in my video, I discussed things I would do differently. Now, I always said I was never gonna do I wish I would have. Now, it's sort of related to building, but it's really not related to my wishes and so on. So the only thing I would have done differently is pick the better time of the year I purchased the bus to work on. Being that I'm in Virginia IA, we get all 4 seasons, and it's never consistent and it's never the same. It starts off weird and so on. But I would have rather picked up the bus during the winter, because demolition really doesn't matter if it's cold or hot or whatever. But I would have done demolition and restoration right towards the spring, so that I could use the rest of the spring and the summer to start building the bus, caulking and things like that, because I was handicapped to the weather quite a bit. And if you actually watch a lot of people's video, the toughest part really is just the weather. So if I could do things differently, that's the only thing I would do. As far as spending all the time on caulking and all the money on caulking and sealing up the bus, no regrets there. I'd do it all over again. I'd continue to keep doing it. One thing that I do want to point out real quick, only because I have it fresh on my mind. So I was watching a gentleman, I forgot what kind of bus, or I want to say he actually had a cargo van. I'm bringing it up now because I'm at that stage where I'm doing floor. If you guys remember back, reference back to when I said when your floor should go in. I'm not talking about your subfloor. I'm talking about your actual floor, your planks, your wood, your hardwood, whatever. It should go in last, in my opinion. You don't want to put it underneath your furniture. You don't want to put it underneath your framing. The gentleman that I watched, he had a water leak, and he had to cut shit apart. I mean, it was pretty nasty as far as the work that he had to do, the money that had to be spent for new stuff. If you build your subfloor, do the rest of your framing, your walls and so on, and the last thing that goes in is your actual floor, repairs, replacements, maintenance is going to be a lot simpler and cheaper than having to cut out your entire floor with a saw or a hammer or whatever, if an issue should arise. Whatever. Yeah, I thought I'd point that out just to help you guys in case anybody's caught up to the stage where I'm at. My floor goes in last. I'll knock the rest of this out. I'm not doing anything really, guys. I'm just shaving the rest of whatever's uneven, and then I'm gonna go pick up wood. So I'm just gonna cut the video here, and again, we'll pick up when I put the floor in. That's all I got. Be good to each other. Your boy Biggs loves you. I'll see y'all on the flip side. Biggs out. Deuces. The floor installation is complete. Shaved down and ready for plywood. Oh, and thanks for watching.